Okay, welcome back, everyone. In this module, we are going to be talking about station setups. In the last module, we spoke about the very global system setup. Now we're going to be talking about the individual setup screens that make each station work or act a little differently than the others on the network. Thank you. Okay, and we're back. But before we do, I want to cover a couple of things. This floating thing you see right in the center of your screen is called the Manager Console. It's organized into tabs with various functions on them. If you're not a big fan of this, everything in here just about can be accessed using the pull-down menus, or the toolbar, or an alternative interface, if I close this off, called the Control Center. Which, with the green bar effect turned off, or turned on, looks like this. And these things along the side are clickable. So it's really up to you what works best for you. If you like this floating control center thing along the side, that's actually how we had it in the lab when I took the retail class, or whether you prefer to have the manager console. I'm actually getting more and more partial to this manager console. Another thing, we talked about system setup in the last video, and I directed you to File, System Setup. That's one way to get to it. Another way to get to it is on your manager console by choosing System Setup, or pressing the, I believe that's the Control 4 key. I always get these confused. The ones in brackets are like your F9, F6, F7. You can actually press like right here under Register and press just 1 for a new invoice, and boom, there's your new invoice. And yes, I'm going to avoid that. I know I'm going to avoid that. Give me a break. Doing things like, I believe that is Shift 1 to get to layaways. No, it is not. It's Control 1. Yes, layaways in progress. So if you see the... Oops. Go away. If you see the up caret there, that means press Control, along with the, in this case, the number 1 key for layaways, 2 for orders, 3 for service orders, 4 for appointments, 5 for quotes. Hang on to that and you're going to be good to go. So, Control 4, make sure I'm saying that right. Oh, nope, the asterisk is, I believe that's for Alt. If you press here, Alt, and then do 4, what's going to happen? Oh, it's not going to do anything because I'm not in my VM. Again. Booyah! That's for station setup. Alt 4 for station setup. So that's one way. I know we've kind of diverged onto hotkeys here, but as we can see, File, System Setup. Choosing, actually no, we don't have System Setup on here. Or going to, if you have your new company set up here, you can go to Review System Setup if you have this still out here. And it's also in the Control Center in one of those tabs. But what we're going to do to get to System Setup is we're going to do File, Or we're going to do station setup. My bad. Yeah, sorry, folks. But yes, it's also there too. So we're going to go to station setup right there. And every station on your network has to have a unique station number. Once it's set, it cannot be changed. So, yes, this is station 1. If we want to give it a descriptive name other than register 1, like VMware server or back office machine or something of that nature, we can do it. Collect tender at station X, so you can ring a sale here and have it on a cash drawer somewhere else. If you don't like this AveraSell thing in the back, you can browse for a bitmap image and either tile it or center it, then set it. Then when you click this little lock icon up here, what's it going to do? Is it going to ask for the other person's sales ID without logging you out first? Or is it going to log you out first and then ask for the sales ID? I always have this one, always execute a secure logout. Next. Okay. On program start. Do we want that manager console to open up? And if so, what is going to be its default view? It defaults right now to yes starting up when the program starts, and to the register view. If we wanted to default it to say inventory view, that's where it would start up at, but it defaults to the register view, and we're going to leave it that way. Screen settings. Do you want to open each of these different things maximized, or do you want to leave them in their little windowed form? And then how often do you want the list of pending transactions to refresh? If you are using this in a quick service food joint, I've seen it happen, and you've constantly got a machine that's refreshing to show the cooks what they need to cook, this is how fast that would refresh. Invoice or miscellaneous. What type of invoice style do you want? Do you want the register style, which looks like, let me see if we can bring a new invoice up. Oh, and it's going to ask me, well, what do I want to do? I want to do a new invoice. This is what register style invoice looks like. It's got this big scan bar here where we can type in a, ding, of course that's not going to work. Or I can type in a SKU number to my heart's content. And they list down here, and you have big control buttons here that you can use to change things out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close that. And as we can see, it's not minimized. Or we have the invoice style, which I'm going to go ahead and F10 this real quick and do a new invoice to show you what that looks like. And this is what the invoice style screen looks like. Notice it's very different. You don't have that big scan bar, and everything you enter is by the line item that way. Get out of there. Yes, I've already voided enough invoices today. Maybe we'll do a whole another module on inventory definitions, or on invoice history. Go back there. I personally like the register style myself. We gotta check these off. So here's how these work. If you don't have any of these checked off, it's just going to assume that it's a quick sale. But if you have quick sale and say customer sale checked off, it will prompt you, hey, which of these is it? Is it a customer by name, or is it a quick sale? If you're going to be doing a return, check it off. And if you're not likely to make a sale at all, there's an option to include a cancel button in there as well. I'm going to OK this just for a second. And I'm actually going to open our system setup back up. That way we can not lose it. If I go here, say invoice, and it's going to pop out customer sale, quick sale, return, or cancel. That's what those little buttons do there. And so I'm going to go. What was that? Next. Sorry about that, guys. Ask for ID when creating new transactions. This forces your cashiers to log on every time they create a new invoice, order, layaway, etc. Ask for commission sales ID when tendering. So if you're tracking commission, you'd check this off. So I may have rung it up, but you are the one that technically sold it. I'd put in your ID and you'd get the commission for it. Stay on invoice after sale. Basically what this is after the fact, if you turn it on, it's going to stay on the invoice and it's going to ask you, hey, do you want to do another invoice or do you want to close? Force cashier login between invoices. Same type of deal. Forces your cashiers to log in every time a new invoice is created. Skip new invoice, close invoice prompt. So if this is checked and you do this, this will basically just automatically start up a new invoice. And the only way to break out of that loop is to void an invoice. Ask to print before finalizing invoices, layaways. This will ask you to print before you tender. And combine same SKU items on invoice. If you scan 3 packs of gum, are they going to show as 3 lines or are they going to show as 1 line totaling 3 packs of gum? Next is we're working with our inventory. Prompt to display lookup list or add new SKU not found. We're going to go ahead and do that. And then we're going to say fast add inventory when invoicing at the register. So if customer brings you something, you scan it, it's not found, you can add it. Okay, printing. Skip the printing of the invoice prompt. Can print from change due screen. I turn this on because some businesses don't often need or like to ask their customer, hey, do you want a receipt? That way it's not forced to be printed. Always prompt to choose printer when invoicing. If you've got multiple printers hooked up to your machine, this would be the way to make that work. Always prompt to preview when invoicing. If you want, you can always preview it. Or at least prompt to before it prints. Use alternate printer when on account. So if I rung up a quick sale, it would print one way, but if I rung up a customer sale by name, it would print it to another printer. And print pick list when completing layaways, orders, etc. So if you have to send that order back to the stock room, this would be an itemized list of what the customer wanted and how much of it without pricing or any of that information on it. So we can activate an electronic journal that shows us all of our transactions, when they were done, etc., and where we want to put said journal. That's what that will do. Age verification. If you sell tobacco or alcohol or anything that is age restricted, this is where you'd set that up, is in your station setup under your invoice or miscellaneous category over there on the left. No age verification, prompt to check ID, which will pop up a little box that says, hey, check the customer's ID, please. And then your salesperson would say, hey, can I see some ID? And the customer would show you their ID, and if that works, You click accept. If not, you click approve. Age verification is done once per category. It's a category-based thing. You can prompt to enter the birth date. So if I entered, let's say I wanted to buy a pack of, I don't know, I'm just going to totally goof this up, and I'm going to say, let's say I wanted to buy a 6-pack of Mountain Dew. I should not be buying more than 3 Mountain Dews in one transaction unless I am over the age of 18. And they'd scan it, it'd pop up, say, whoa, 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 whoa. What's your birthday? I'd tell them 1991. They'd enter that in. They'd see that I'm 25 and that I am okay to buy my 6-pack of Mountain Dew. Or prompt to swipe driver's license. If I had a magstripe reader attached to this VM, which I don't, we could swipe my driver's license and get my birth date information out of it. If you've got a card reader, a magstripe reader attached to your POS terminal, how does your card reader handle this? Does it put the data in tracks 1 and 2 on a separate line, or does it not? And what that looks like, I'm going to open up Notepad, and this is how they encourage you to test this, is open up like a Notepad, and, oops, that's sticky notes, not what I wanted. And is it, shoot. So, open, no, I don't want to save, give me a break. I want to get out of there. Yes, exit the sticky note. Let's try that again. Okay, Notepad. So, let's say, I'm just going to put in some random junk on the keyboard. This is your track 1 of whatever you swiped. Enter. This is your track 2 of whatever you swiped. If you swipe that card and it comes back as 2 lines broken up like that as 2 lines, then yes, your card reader puts a CRLF between tracks 1 and 2. If it comes back like this as 1 big line, then no, your card reader does not put a CRLF between tracks 1 and 2, and this is where you'd go to set that up, and you can test it right there. So, that's age verification. AR, you can set it to not prompt you for a password when you go to do a customer's accounts receivable payment. And, hang on, zoom in on this. And under miscellaneous, show costs when entering quotes, and hide customer info box on the scheduling calendar. They actually never taught us what that did in class because we didn't have the quotes module or the service module. So I will probably do a circle back around module in this class to explain what those do. Next, under printing options, this is where you can set up how you want your packing slips to print, if you want them to print at all. Customer labels, this is where you can define what your bill to and ship to labels look like. They've got some labels pre-built in that you just need to click the right forms for. POs, and you can always print your POs when you place them so you have a hard copy for filing. Register balance, you can print various things and say that you want to print that to your receipt printer. So, print invoice transactions, print the tender summaries, print credit card summaries. That would be the way that's done. Cash drawer, if you happen to have a cash drawer attached to your POS machine, you'd check the box, you'd put in the code as provided by your cash drawer manufacturer, and you'd test the son of a gun. You'd choose what serial port it's attached to, and if you happen to have a printer that goes through your cash drawer, because you only have so many serial ports. You can check that box off and figure that all out. Poll display, or those funky little poll displays you see at like Save Mart or Target. This is where you'd set up one of those if you're lucky enough to have one. Credit card reader. This is where you'd set up your magstripe reader. I don't have any of these lovely retail hardware devices, so I can't show you how they work. Portable scanner. Oh, geez, these are fun. If you're the likes of Target or Walmart, you do gift registries for customers who are getting married. You give them one of these little things and let them scan to their heart's content. You create a new order for them under their name, and then the friends, the associates, the family can see what's there and order it. Just like that. Let's see. MultiMonitor support. This is cool, and I actually have a way to set this up, but I'm really not going to, at least today anyway. Is you can activate MultiMonitor support and set up your images the way they need to be. So like where you'd set those up is in your Data 2 folder. So if we go to my computer, AVS, Data 2, we'd make a new folder called Mimages, which is spelled as MMIMAGES, Mimages. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on that so you can see it. Images or Mimages, depending on who you talk to. And you'd put your JPEG or GIF, however you want to pronounce that, GIF, graphics interchange format. You'd stick your pictures in here. And basically what would happen, I'll go ahead and trash that. What would happen is that you can rotate out you'd put a default image, so when your station's idle and not ringing a transaction, this would be your default image, and then you could set your slideshow images to display announcements or products or anything really. And when you are ringing a sale, the customer will actually see the prices come up. In fact, just a minute. I actually have a really good example of this in Help. And I just gotta remember where that was. That was in Hardware, MultiMonitor Support. Okay, this is what the person tendering would see. This is what the customer would see. And I know that's kind of hinky there. Let me see if I can hide that. Yes, I can. Boom. And this is what the customer would see. This is what your employee sees right here. And this is what your customer sees as it's getting rung. So when you are ringing an invoice or a sale, the slideshow would stop and this is what you'd get. Yes, I actually had to pull that right out of the manual there, because I don't have the setup for that. Okay, let's see. Printing an email. And under here is where you can define how invoices are printed or emailed. I am not going to go into that today. I may do a loop back around module and do it later. So, next, we've covered station setup and we've changed a few things in here. So let's OK to that. Okay, we've talked about station setup. Big yay. Let me look on our new company setup here and see what else we kind of need to cover. Okay, we need to cover, okay. We've covered our tax rates, if ever so briefly. We've covered our system setup. We've covered our station setup. So we're going to be covering next adding some employees. And then we're going to cover some category defaults and some departments and categories. So we're going to cover all of that in some upcoming movies. I just wanted to look and see what we had left to cover. So, with that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and show you one other final little thing while we're here in this station setup video. It's kind of some fun. If you want to log out of AveraSell because your work shift is done, you can press Control and the / key, and you will get a login box. And if I flub my password again, or flub my user ID again with one that does not exist, instead of the annoying thing we got earlier, you'll hear the new sound from when we did it in system setup. See? POS. If I flub my password again. See? So, let me put this in right here, guys. So, we will be adding some employees here shortly. We're actually going to add me as an employee, so that way I can work on this system, and we'll talk about security options as well, maybe in a separate video. So I will see you in the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and I'm out of here. Bye for now.